Before we begin, a huge thank you to my newest Patreon supporter, Random Bystander here.
The Grain Trade Center in Vienna was the 17th urban bombing in 4 weeks, blamed on Nod terrorists.
The Security Commission remains in closed session tonight following Nod terrorist actions in Slovenia.
At least your mother tipped well.
Polish, unforgiving wilderness.
New Tiberium harvesting methods instituted by the Brotherhood of Nod increase profitability by 49%.
Are you picking this up? Good. Greetings, one and all! KayWhy is the name, and I've got something to tell you. I love Command & Conquer. No, really, I love Command & Conquer. No, really, I love Command & Conquer. Command & Conquer is my favorite game series of all time. The first game released just a few months after I was released, and I've quite literally grown up with this series. But what makes this series so special to myself and so many others? Let's dive in and find out. When you boot up the game for the first time, you're treated to a rather interesting cutscene. No opening titles, no omniscient exposition, not even a main menu. It's more like a cold open, flipping through various channels on a TV. Most of them provide information on the world you're about to enter, but there's a few sprinkled in just for giggles. There's an over-the-top soap opera spoof, a silly kids channel, kids drinking motor oil, because 90s. Jokes aside, I love this opening. It provides enough exposition to get you started, puts you in the mindset of somebody actually looking at a screen, and the sense of humor keeps you engaged. After that, you're given a choice. You can either select the Global Defense Initiative or the Brotherhood of Nod. Each side has its own campaign and its own playstyle. GDI is focused more on heavy firepower and units which are essentially jack of all trades, master of none. Nod, on the other hand, is focused more on mobility and specialization. There is enough functional similarity between the two that if you can play one side, you can reliably play the other. Whoever your pick, you're given your orders by either General Shepard, the leader of GDI forces, or Seth, the right-hand man of the Brotherhood of Nod. Then you're dropped into the first mission. No tutorial, just dropped in with you, some guys, and targets. This is right at the end of the period of time where games felt comfortable throwing you to the wolves. Thankfully, Command & Conquer gives you more than enough firepower to familiarize yourself with the controls without worry of being hit too hard. You'd basically have to actively try in order to lose these first missions. Beyond that, the concept is simple. Build a base, and then blow everything on the map to Kingdom Come. Some missions play with this a little bit, such as grabbing a crate, getting to a certain part of the map, or blowing up one specific building, but in general, deleting every enemy you see is a recipe for success. And that's really the main reason why CNC is as awesome as it is. From the beginning, they mastered the art of letting you blow things up in creative and exciting ways. The secret sauce is in the art. The sprites, the animations, the sound effects, the voice lines, everything is tailor-made to make every moment feel awesome. And of course, all of it is set to a banging soundtrack. Frank Kopacki composed the music for this game, and every track is a banger. Just have a list of some of my favorites. Act on Instinct, Just Do It Up, In Trouble, Rain in the Night, Warfare, the list goes on. We'll be hearing more of Frank's work in future reviews, but it's all fantastic. Anyways, back to blowing stuff up. This requires units, which requires a base, both of which require money. But how do you get money? Simple, really. You harvest a newly discovered alien life form, dissect it, and then sell the parts on the gray market for profit. I'm only half joking when I say that. Your main source of income is Tiberium, which I will let Dr. Mobius explain.
Molecularly, it's a non-carbon-based element that appears to have strong ferrous qualities with non-resonating reversible energy that has a tendency to disrupt carbon-based molecular structures with inconsequent and unequal positrons orbiting on the first, second, and ninth quark rings.
Oh. Crap, I gotta put this in layman's terms, don't I? Well, Tiberium is an alien life form which was first discovered from a meteor that landed near the Tiber River. It saps precious metals and minerals from the surrounding Earth, concentrating it all in their crystals. Thus, harvesting Tiberium is a great way to get access to those valuables without the hassle of digging. But as with all miracle items, there's a catch. Tiberium is incredibly toxic, screwing up native Earth biology wherever it goes. The most common form of this in-game is the Blossom Tree, which continues to spew out Tiberium spores throughout the match, making it an infinite source of Tiberium. It's also quite toxic to human beings, which, in gameplay terms, means that infantry in Tiberium fields will slowly take damage over time. They could die from this as well, with a very small chance of turning into a grotesque, hostile abomination known as a Visceroid. I didn't manage to capture it on my recording, unfortunately, but it can happen. But hey, it's valuable, that's what matters. Gather that shit and use the profits to pump out as many troops and tanks as you wish. There's no population limit whatsoever, so if you can afford it, you can build it. Assuming it's unlocked by that point in the game. Of course, the only thing cooler than blowing up your enemy is quite literally taking their stuff away from them and using it against them. But for that, you need engineers. These hard hat guys can't attack anything, but they can instantly capture any enemy structures that they enter, giving it a fresh coat of paint and letting you have access to whatever tech it provides instantly. The game requires you to do this a few times, so it's not something you'll miss, and as soon as you learn this tactic, I guarantee you will always use them in every mission ever. It's just so satisfying. You can also use them to instantly repair any structures on your side to full health, though it's unlikely you'll really need this. Most of the time you can fend off any attackers rather easily, and in the long run, it's more cost effective to use the repair function. Even so, you can never go wrong with keeping some engineers on retainer. Speaking of infantry you can never go wrong with, before long you get handed the greatest infantry unit in the entire game, the Commando. Armed with a sniper rifle and a ton of C4, he can one-shot infantry and buildings. And of course, just listen to his lines.
Real tough guy. I've got a present for you. Real tough guy. I'm on it. I'm on it. Left hand. I've got a present for you.
It's no wonder that the Commando became an icon and a staple of the franchise. Every CNC game afterward has a Commando-style unit in some form, and we'll be seeing all of them in the future. Throughout the first half of each campaign, you'll hear about Kane, the mysterious leader of the Brotherhood of Nod, and one of the greatest video game characters of all time. Joe Kukin's performance is one of the longest running in gaming history, and it's as iconic as Charles Martinet as Mario or David Hayter as Solid Snake. He marks the halfway point of each campaign when he chimes in to speak to you directly. Just watch his introduction in the GDI campaign.
Don't look so surprised, Commander. And don't look around for your Eva, it can't help you now. Well, what shall we talk about, Your powerful GDI forces have been emasculated, and you yourself are a killer of children. Now, of course, it's not true, but the world only believes what the media tells them to believe, and I tell the media what to believe. It's really quite simple. Oh, there's your little pet. But now that I know where you live, Commander, it's only a matter of time. Were I in your shoes, I would spend my last earthly hours enjoying the world. Of course, if you wish, you can spend them fighting for a lost cause. But you know that you've lost.
And now in the Nod campaign.
Yes, power shifts more quickly than some people think. I am Kane, While I get your troops back from the States, I want you to take what men you have left and secure this abandoned GDI base. Once in, build up an arsenal of weapons and use them to wipe out the remaining GDI presence. Oh, and congratulations on your promotion.
You can see why he's such an iconic character, and how Joe ended up holding the record for longest portrayal of a video game character at one point. He's the best part of every CNC game he shows up in, and that's saying something, considering later titles would have the likes of Michael Ironside, Rene Auberjonois, and freaking James Earl Jones. It's honestly astonishing that he hasn't done many other notable roles apart from this, because his on-screen presence is fantastic. I should probably mention that, for stability reasons, I'm technically playing on the remastered version. There's not much difference between the two from a gameplay perspective, aside from a few quality of life improvements. I am, however, using the classic graphics to give you an idea of what most people see when they think of the original game. But you can, if you wish, swap between original and remastered graphics with the push of a button. Like this! That wasn't an edit, it's an actual in-game function, found a spacebar by default. You can also swap to new sound effects and voice lines, but I'm an old fogey. I only use the classic sounds. But the fact that the option for either new or classic is built into the game by default is fantastic. More remasters should do this. Back to the campaign, by now you've got plenty of new toys to deal with, but so is the enemy. This is where you really see the faction diversity, with Nod sporting flame tanks, stealth tanks, and a powerful base defense known as the Obelisk of Light. GDI, on the other hand, gets access to the Orca, advanced guard towers, and the most iconic unit in the whole franchise, the Mammoth Tank. This absolute unit of a tank sports 2 cannons, 2 missile launchers, and a high health pool, allowing it to take on any target with relative ease. Here in the original game though, as cool as they are, I always found it better to stick with mass groups of mediums. The economy just isn't fast enough to sustain a big horde of mammoths to reliably take down the enemy in a timely manner. This will change in the future though. Boy howdy, will it change. As you get further into the campaign, the AI decides to take off the gloves as well. They don't give you a moment to breathe half the time, especially in the Nod campaign, where you often need to find a base on the map rather than building one right at the start, all the while GDI is more than happy to hit you with airstrikes. It's not impossible, and it does fit the campaign progression, but it is annoying. But with enough patience and the right units, however, you can always beat them off and... Wait a minute. With enough patience and the right units, you can always hold the line and take the fight to them. And in the final mission of each campaign, you're put against the ultimate test. You have to build and maintain one base, while the enemy has 2 or 3 bases of various sizes, all of which can and will put the pressure on you. But by this point, you've got the full arsenal, you've mastered the economy, you know what to do, and your army is practically unstoppable. Build up your forces and show them how you command and conquer. The final cutscenes are just the cherry on top. In the GDI campaign, you destroy the Temple of Nod, killing Kane and securing victory as he bathes in the light of the orbital ion cannon blast. For now. Meanwhile, in the Nod campaign, you hijack said ion cannon and have your choice of 4 major landmarks to destroy. Personally, I always enjoy picking on France, so I go for the Eiffel Tower. Whatever you pick, GDI takes the blame and is dissolved, leaving the future in the hands of the Brotherhood of Nod. Peace through power, brothers. But wait, there's more! In addition to the main campaign, there was also an expansion pack known as the Covert Ops. This is basically just extra missions with some unique setups. No story bearing, just some extra things to do. One final note though, since the Remastered Collection was released on Steam, you get access to the workshop, which allows you to install community-made mods with ease. This can extend from Tiberium growth rate enhancers to new maps and new missions. Look at this for example, this is a remake of the first mission from CNC Renegade done in the original game. How cool is that? All in all, this game holds a special place in my heart. It might seem a bit basic compared to other strategy games, but that's just due to it being one of the first. What is there is a solid gameplay loop, an enticing atmosphere, and an unforgettable experience. So to answer the question, okay, why should I play Command & Conquer? Because it's a strong start to something special. I look forward to revisiting the rest of the franchise here on this channel, and I'm going to do some other fun little things sprinkled in between. But for now, that's all there is and there ain't no more. I will see you next time. Commander, you've reached the end of the video. The names you see on screen right now are my wonderful supporters on Patreon. If you would like to join their ranks, there's a link in the description below where you can support the channel for as little as $1 a month. But please, only do so if you are comfortable. Otherwise, you can subscribe to the channel and ring the bell so that you can get notified the moment a new video releases. If nothing else though, just you being here is greatly appreciated. Thank you.